Basecamp and the Rady Ambassador presentation area. My name is Jamie. I'm working with Anita. We're both wildlife care specialists here in this area. And we have one of our ambassadors today who's going to make an appearance.
Look at cutie patootie.
She's going to come out for about 10 to 15 minutes, so I'll chat about her. Very happy to answer any questions, so if you think of anything you're wondering along the way, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just get to know our friend Phoenix, and she's going to slowly make her way out. Do you have any guesses what kind of animal Phoenix here is?
Adorable.
Adorable is accurate. Yeah, what do you think? She is a wombat. Yeah, what clued you in that she was a wombat? Do you see anything on her that... Yeah, that giant nose, those big fluffy ears, her hair, maybe her body size. So Phoenix is a wombat. Wombats are, I like to refer to them kind of as ground koalas. They are ground-dwelling fossorial animals. That means they dig underground, they dig burrows. They live in Australia, and they have something in common with koalas. Does anybody know? They have a pouch. They are a marsupial. So Australia is home to lots of marsupials, all different types. They all look a little bit different. So you think kangaroos, wallabies, koalas, wombats, all marsupials. So they give birth to their young, and then that young grows up in the pouch. It's born very, very small. We're talking a little bit bigger than a gummy bear, so very, very small. So Phoenix here is actually from Australia as well. She's what's called a naked nose or a common wombat. And she moved here from Australia after she was rescued. So she has kind of a sad story, but with a happy ending. She was a rescue. She was actually found in mom's pouch on the side of a road in Australia. And luckily, because they have so many marsupials, they knew exactly what to do. They checked the pouch, found the baby, brought that baby to a rescue and rehab facility. And most wombats are very successful at rehab and reintroduction. So most of them, I would say probably we've heard about 70 to 80%. No problem. They're able to rehab them, send them back to the wild. They do great. Phoenix here decided that people were really cool. And she decided that she didn't want to go and be away from people, that people brought all the fun food and all the fun stuff. And so she was not able to be reintroduced. They have to pass certain criteria in order to be eligible for reintroduction, and she did not pass that. So she was way too accustomed to people, way too comfortable. So they decided that she would make a better ambassador instead. So they called us up. We have a great relationship with a lot of facilities in Australia due to all the work we've done with koalas. So they called us up, asked if we wanted a wombat for an ambassador. We said, of course. So she is now about 14 years old, and she's been here most of her life. So it's actually pretty rare to see a wombat that is trained and comfortable coming out in public. They tend to be pretty elusive, a little bit shy. They sleep most of the day. She is an anomaly. Her personality is very different from any other wombat I've worked with. So she is trained. You can see her on that harness and leash, but you'll notice that the leash is loose. It's more just in case she tries to go somewhere we don't want her to go, such as into this wall of lettuce that they put here, or maybe digging in the dirt. Our horticulturists don't like that. So the leash is there more as a guide and like a safety barrier than anything. But she is trained to follow us around. We use all positive reinforcement training. That means that we ask her to do something, and if she does what we've asked, she gets a reinforcement. If not, no big deal. We just move on to the next behavior. So no consequences there. But she does tend to do really well, and she is very food motivated. So that means more than willing to come out here and have some snacks. And I mentioned that they're usually asleep during the day, but she has kind of adapted to our schedule. So she knows that around this time of day when we're up and moving around, she hears us, and that's when she's going to get her afternoon snack. So she's usually more than willing to come up, come out, go into her carrier, and come out onto this presentation area. So as she moves around, I want you to notice some of her adaptations that we talked about a little bit. So while she's facing sideways, do you guys see anything that, and there's that wall of lettuce. Do you guys see anything that might help her as a fossorial animal, or an animal that burrows and lives down underground?
No tail.
No tail, yeah. She actually does have a tail, but it's only about this long. And that, that big round hind end is very helpful for a couple reasons. One, she's nice and square and compact, so when she digs that burrow, she can actually use that hind end to compact the dirt around her. And then she has nothing for predators to grab. So if a predator were to come down into her burrow, it's pretty solid back there, so a predator cannot grab her. So think a dingo, wild dog, would not really be able to grab her too easily. Now she also has something we can't really see, but she has a hard bony plate across her hind end. And that hard bony plate is going to be a great form of protection. So does anyone know what they do with it? Anyone heard?
Booty bumps.
Pretty fun. Yeah, they bump with it. So if a predator were to come down into her burrow, she's going to throw that rear end up against the roof of her burrow as hard as possible, and it could actually break the jaw of a dingo. So it can be really, really hard hit. So generally, predators don't mess with wombats because pretty feisty, they've got some big teeth, and they have that great defense on their hind end. So Anita's gonna do a little reset here. We're gonna kind of fix up the enrichment, maybe move some stuff around, and then bring Phoenix back out. So we do this usually a couple times during our presentations, not only to give us a chance to move stuff around and give her something new to explore, but also it's great training because she learns that going into her carrier doesn't always mean that the fun ends. So we like to do this a couple times during the presentation, breaks it up a little bit, and keeps her interested in what's going on out here. Now I could talk about her all day, but I'm happy to answer questions. Yeah, go ahead.
You said she's 14. What's the lifespan of a wombat?
Great question.
Captivity.
Yeah, so in the wild, they're only going to live maybe 10 to 12 years. And that a lot of that is due to food scarcity, maybe diseases. Also a big problem with them is being hit by cars. They live in very populated areas in Australia because a lot of what their home habitat would be, these big open spaces, have been developed, and there's roads through the middle of them now. So wombats don't move all that fast, and they tend to cross those roads without paying too much attention. So yeah, their lifespan in the wild is only about 10 to 12 years, but in zoos, I've heard of them living up to 20 years or more.
And do you see health problems in the later years?
Yeah, that's a great question. Just like any animal or human or anything, as they get older, we do see some age-related health concerns. For example, she has maybe a little bit of stiffness and maybe a little arthritis starting as she's reaching her later years, but we really try to stay on top of it. We've got nutritionists that keep their weight in check so that everything is moving and working healthy. We have one of our vets focuses on physical therapy, so we have several of our older animals actually on a physical therapy regimen to keep their joints moving and keep everything working well. But yeah, we do definitely see age-related issues, and our vets are always right on top of it. We have a lot of preventative things that we can do to help them out. Yeah, did you have a question?
What are its predators?
What are her predators? That's a great question. So her biggest predators would be dingoes, wild dogs, and then there are some predators that have been introduced to Australia, like feral dogs that might go after her. But for the most part, adult wombats don't have a lot of predators, and they are pretty territorial. So if an animal gets near her, she's usually going to chase it away as fast as possible. And when they're babies, though, they have to stay close to mom for quite a while because then their predators might include birds of prey or maybe big snakes that can go after them. Yeah, great question. Did you have a question? What was that? How many of the naked-nosed wombats are alive in the wild? That's a good question. I don't have the exact answer, but luckily, this particular species is not endangered. So there are actually quite a lot of them out in Australia. There are several types of wombat, though. So she's the common wombat, as their name would suggest. They are the most common. But there are hairy-nosed wombats. Those are much more endangered. And then there are also some subspecies, some small populations on some of the islands around Australia, and those are also much more endangered. But Phoenix here, the common wombat, luckily not endangered. So she's a great ambassador to have for her species, but she is not technically right now part of the species survival plan. She's not part of any of our breeding programs because they have lots of wombats in Australia. Yeah, great questions. Do we have any other questions? Anything
Free
you guys
snack.
are wondering? So if you're just joining us, this is Phoenix, the naked-nosed wombat.
Does she have a favorite treat?
Does she have a favorite treat? She likes food. She is actually on a vet-prescribed diet because she is what we call overconditioned. So we talked a little bit about how as they get older, we start to see maybe some joint problems. She's being managed by our nutritionist to make sure that she's not taking in too many calories because she will eat as much food as we put in front of her. So we have to really manage that. So she gets a lot of dry grasses and hays. So you saw this hay here. That's one of her favorites. That's just Bermuda grass hay. She also loves these pellets that she gets that are like compressed grasses and compressed leaf material that have some vitamins and minerals added. And then her favorite is her lettuce, and she gets her lettuce during training sessions. But other than that, she doesn't get that lettuce just kind of free fed to her, so it's a really special treat. It's like her dessert. So she gets all of the calories, everything she needs from the hay and the grasses. That's very similar to what they would eat. If you think about it, it's pretty dry, pretty hot out there, not a lot growing. So they're going to eat dry brush, dry grasses, and they have very, very efficient digestive systems, which allow them to get calories out of what we would consider almost no food. So she can process that food very, very well. Okay, well, one of the things that we do with Phoenix, I mentioned we do a lot of like vet exams. The vets check her out. We have our nutritionist come check her out. So one of the things that we do as part of her training program is train her to be comfortable with anybody and everybody coming near her, interacting with her, and that is so that she is comfortable if we have a brand new vet or a brand new nutritionist she's never seen before that needs to come and do an exam. So to demonstrate this, we have a volunteer that is going to get a chance to meet Phoenix and get a chance to see maybe what she feels like. Wombats are very tactile. That means she enjoys being scratched and having rubbing on things. So she does seem to really enjoy these interactions as well, but they're helping us to desensitize her to new people. So come on over. And you can, anywhere behind her harness, you can give her scratches, pats on that rear end, really get in there. And what does she feel like?
It's like a golden retriever.
Yeah, kind of like a golden retriever, like a dog. Yeah, you can feel that bony plate back there. I like to compare her maybe even to like a long-haired goat, if you've ever pet a goat. And she's
likes
very
them
sturdy.
booty
She
bumps.
has solid muscle. So she loves, you'll see them out in Australia rubbing on sticks, rubbing on rocks, rubbing on trees. Yeah, we'll get a quick photo op before we head out. So if you come back and visit us, you never know what you're going to get to do. Thanks, Bella. Do we have any other questions before Phoenix heads home for the day? I want to thank you guys for joining us here in Basecamp and meeting Phoenix. Yeah,
I heard that they have unique poop.
they do have unique poop. Has anyone heard about their poop? No? Yeah? It is. They have cubed poop. And we're not 100% sure why, but scientists think that it's because when they poop, they're actually marking their territory, and they don't want it to roll away. They want to be pretty precise there. So they'll actually build little poop towers with it.
How to eat square meals.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for visiting. I hope you enjoyed meeting Phoenix. If you'd like to meet more ambassadors, right next door at 2 o'clock in Wegaforth Bowl, they do another presentation. So you might get a chance to see maybe 4 or 5 additional ambassadors out there. But thanks for visiting. Your support today really helps us out with not only the animals here at the zoo, but also our conservation programs around the world.